A very good morning, and in this session, we would focus on some of the major developments that have been given in Kurukshetra April edition. So, the first topic deals with women empowerment and women leadership. So, we have seen across various Panchayati Raj institutions that there have been development of women led institutions, and these have been noteworthy. Even from our historical time, if we go, Gargi and Maitreya were known for their philosophical and spiritual debates on Brahma Vidya, and this was one of the things that has been seen even from that time. So we have also seen women participation in Sabha, that is the council, and Samiti, which is the assembly. Even in the medieval time, we have Ahilyabai Holkar, Rani Jhansi, Rani Lakshmibai of Jhansi, then Rani Avanti Bai as some of the examples who have been very, very remarkable in terms of leadership. Even today, we have this proud tradition of women empowerment. In our 73rd constitutional amendment, we talked about local self-governance as one of the primary units of governance, and they are with nearly 6.5 lakh villages, which account for 64% of the country's population. There have been 1/3 seats which are there for the women. So nearly half of that elected representatives in Panchayati Raj are from women, and 1/3 reservation from women have been made for the local bodies and Panchayati Raj institutions. Also, there have been states which have been aiming to raise the reservation for women up to 50% in direct elections. Now, Panchayati Raj is one of the basic elementary units, or the Panchayat system is one of the basic elementary units, and if the grassroots levels are strengthened, then there is a possibility that the decision making from the root levels would be very sound and would lead to further empowerment, right? So there have been various schemes, for example, Rashtriya Gram Swaraj Abhiyan. Then we also mark the International Women Day. Then we have the Sakshat Panchayat Netri Abhiyan that aims to build leadership capability of the elected women. Also, there are various training modules that are into existence. Adarsh Mahila and Hitaishi Gram Panchayat initiatives are another some models which are really, really important. Now, gender-based violence have been one of the major issues in India, and this includes domestic violence, this includes unsafe living conditions, and bringing in a women's friendly Panchayati Raj system would be an initiative towards this. There have been various models which have been served for safer and prosperous environment. Also, there is the leadership concept, which is Sarpanchpati or Pradhanpati, is a kind of backward mentality which has been aimed to keep the women out of the position. However, with the decision and the directive of Supreme Court, there have been further initiatives for transformation of women's representation, and these have to be implemented at the grassroots level. Then we have another scheme which is known as Samvita scheme. Now, this scheme is the survey of villages using technology and drones, and this empowers women. Even the scheme like Lakpati Didi enables women to have knowledge about agriculture through the drones and training in drones for the women, which will bring in property rights, which would bring in financial security and proper recognition and empowerment. So there has to be development of Mahila Sabhas. Ground root level organization needs to be developed and highlighted. So participation in Mahila Sabha aims to bring in female voters, take part in development of marginalized community, disabled and members of self-help group. Then there are National Panchayat Awards. These are based on 9 different themes which lead to free from poverty, good health, safe children, adequate water facilities, environmentally sustainable, dependable infrastructure, upholding the justice, good governance practices, and supporting the women. Also, the scope and responsibility has been delegated to the panchayat through the devolution index. Now, this talks about the overall health of the local governance, and the ranking for each state has been given. Even within the ranking for each of the state, it has been given which state is performing good on which index. So, if you can go through and see how the development has been, it's really interesting to understand that there has been implementation at the grassroots level. The capacity building, capacity enhancement, accountability has been there. Then there has been a PDI, which is the Panchayat Devolution Index, which talks about the overall health and well-being of individual panchayats, and this is evaluated across various states and union territories. Now, the state ministers in charge of the Panchayati Raj, Ministry of Panchayati Raj has a combined section which highlights on the various aspects, for example, transfer of functions, finances, functionaries based on the various studies, and it actually provides and scores states on the following dimensions, the 6 dimensions: framework, function, finance, functionary, capacity enhancement, which are measured through 26 different indicators, and accountability, right? So all of these have been done under a 3F index. This 3F index is nothing but function, finance and functionaries to panchayat. Now, the framework talks about the state's adherence to the constitutional provisions. Then there are methodologies which actually refine and expand the scope. The Indian Institute of Public Administration took over the study and announced a 2-stage complex process which identified the various states. The first stage involved identifying the states which met all the 4 criteria which are mandatory for the framework decision. Then there was a clear understanding on the devolution. The capacity enhancement and accountability was taken into account, and then there was a compilation which has been done by National Council of Applied Economic Research, Indian Institute of Public Administration, and TISS, that is Tata Institute of Social Sciences. So we have found out that Karnataka scored best on accountability, Kerala in framework, again Karnataka in finance, then capacity enhancement it was Telangana, functions it was Tamil Nadu, and functionaries it was Gujarat. So these were some of the important indices. Now, physical infrastructure, recruitment drives to strengthen the panchayat were important. As we could see the shift, we have seen Kerala now comes on the 2nd rank, which was previously the top one. Karnataka leading the score, with Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh and Gujarat further down by 1 point as of 2015-16. Now, the implication actually, as we said, is to understand the strength and the weaknesses of the state, to identify the overall health, existing laws, resource allocation, policy making, and then ensuring that the decentralization which has been done is strengthened and the local governments are able to deliver the public services to their best with better efficiency. So empowerment of public Panchayati Raj institutions is very, very foundational to our democracy. Over the last 11 years, the central government under the visionary of Prime Minister has taken various initiatives for these institutions. Amrit Kal of independence has been very, very important, where we talk about empowerment, self-sufficiency and well-governance as part of the Viksit Bharat vision. And the event was done in 1993 to mark the India's local self-governance. Now, 73rd constitutional amendment we already discussed. Then we talked about part 9 of the amended the part 9 of the constitution, which is the article 243, talking about more powers and responsibility to the panchayat. Representation of SC, ST, OBC and disadvantaged group. Then talking about the charges of planning, execution and schemes. Nearly 6.5 lakh villages being governed, around 2.7 lakh panchayats has been really important. And then there has been a 3-tier system talking about the representation and development of the Panchayati Raj institutions, right? Focusing on the panchayat roles and responsibilities, the state role has been important. There have been 11 schedules which are specifying 29 subjects of state legislature which delegate to the panchayat, focus on the activities like resource management, fishery, social forestry, minor forest produce, healthcare, education. The Ministry of Panchayati Raj was formed in 2004 and aims to bring in transparency and efficiency, bring in infrastructure development, capacity building, building. Then under the capacity building, we are mainly focusing on schemes like Rashtriya Gram Swaraj Abhiyan, focusing on the amount of training initiatives which has been taken into consideration. Now this has been collaborated with IIM Ahmedabad, Bodh Gaya, Jammu, Amritsar IIM and so on, as part of strengthening the leadership development at grassroots level and to effectively achieve them. Sakshat Panchayat Netri Abhiyan is again a nationwide campaign which focuses on bringing in and empowering the women elected representatives in the Panchayati Raj institutions. Also, the next one is PESA. PESA is really important, and its effective implementation is further important. So, Panchayat's extension to the Scheduled Area 1996 is a step to empower the tribal communities, focusing on the stakeholders, the relevant activities and events that could be conducted under PESA. And this follows the vision of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. There are 8 states which have been working under the PESA rule, that is Andhra Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Gujarat, Himachal, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and Telangana. Odisha and Jharkhand have now drafted their own PESA rules. Now with this, there is a portal which supports the creation of Gram Panchayat development plan through the PESA Gram Sabhas, and this brings in a thematic development plan to facilitate introduction of innovative approach, and also an approach using whole of government and whole of society approach. So the themes include healthy village, child friendly village, green village, poverty free village, self-sufficient in infrastructure, socially just and secure, good governance, women friendly. So these are some of the ideas which are part of the PESA. Also, we focus on the basic provisions which include water, street light, drainage system, basic facilities in the rural areas, the common areas, then the e-governance and the ICT initiative. So under this, we have a public financial management system which is integrated with e-Gram Swaraj, which provides a unique interface for real-time payments to the vendors and the providers. Now all the transactions under this are secured. The payment are created through two-factor authentication, which ensures that there is a safe delivery of the content. Also, the portal is available in only English, and sometimes this could be a challenge to the local representatives, but still there are ways to enable them with the Bhashini portal, which is an integration of the regional languages across the Bhashini portal. The next is land weather forecasting. Now this is again very important, as 64% of the population reside in the rural area, and weather forecasting, if proper, would give them a correct indication on what time the sowing harvesting has to be maintained. So this also focuses on bringing in a mobile app which talks about Gram Manchitra. This would talk about the land and the proper use of the land, and then through the central place you can sell the product through e-Gram Swaraj. There is also online audit of the Panchayat accounts, which aims to improve the transparency and accountability. There is a citizen charter campaign which actually talks about Meri Panchayat Mera Adhikar, Jan Sevaएं Hamare Dwar. Now this again talks about the facilities being coming at the doorstep of an individual, specifically the health, vaccination, drinking water, public welfare, employment opportunities. Then we already talked about the National Panchayat Awards before on the 9 indicators. Now the hierarchy is really important. The local government works under 2 heads, revenue and the governance. Under governance, it is rural and urban, which is under the 73rd constitutional amendment, as we said. So the rural area is divided under panchayats. Panchayats have district panchayats, intermediate panchayats, village panchayats and wards. The urban area is either cantonment or a municipality or municipal corporation, and then there are wards between them. If we talk about the revenue, it is the district, state, district, sub-district and village, and district, sub-district and village together are part of the block. Samvida scheme, we already focused how land records are being maintained using technology and drones, and this drone survey would be completed for nearly 3.2 lakh villages, and this would provide property cards to be issued to each of the individual in that respective area. The next is State PRI Act revisit. Now the Gram Panchayats are authorized to actually work and impose taxes and fees for delivering the public services, and this has been implemented significantly. RBI has talked about the trend where the own resource revenue has just made up only 6% of the total gram panchayat receipts which have been there. So this own source revenue is relatively less, and the idea is to leverage schemes like Samvita and others for better own source revenue which the panchayats can actually generate, and taxing through or property tax could be one of the ways. So once the land records are being maintained, this could be well established. The next is the common property management. Now every village has a common region, right? This is the common property, and managing that common property comes under the common property management. So there are three models to it: anthropogenic, anthropological, socialist and capitalist. So capitalist would say just privatize the resources. Socialist would say collectively use the public resource for resource management, and anthropological would say that there would be a system for management which would lead to best solution. Now there are each of the steps which have been given under the various ideas. Now, if the state has a timely establishment of State Finance Commission and the implementation which could lead to better revenues from the local panchayats or the Panchayati Raj institutions, the state can actually allow portions of taxes such as stamp duties, registration fee, entertainment fees to the local bodies, and this could lead to development of the local bodies. Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh do share the revenue from the stamp and the registration with both rural as well as the urban local bodies. However, Uttar Pradesh transfers the revenue to urban areas, Karnataka transfers it to urban and not to rural. So there are differences in the tax assessments and the distribution of the taxes. So Karnataka do share the stamp and registration fees with local, urban and rural. However, for the professional tax, it goes only to the urban area. Now again, there are Gram Panchayat secretary who take a look onto the implementation schemes, the various programs, and ensure that the development is at the proper pace. Now, under the Samvita scheme, there is a proper formal property documentation as property cards, which would be called as the record of rights, which would be issued, and this would be beyond the financial empowerment, because these would be issued in the names of female owners or jointly with male partners, which would foster the women empowerment and have a structured village development in the rural areas. Also, there would be introduction of development control regulations in panchayat, which would formalize the unorganized growth and optimize the land use. So there would be sustainable cities and communities that would be developed under the sustainable goal 11. Also, talking about the data driven decision making for implementation of government programs is very, very important. So building permission systems, property tax collection, the own source revenue, as we focused on, are some of the ways through which the local bodies can actually prosper. Also, bringing in technology for rural planning. This would include introduction of artificial intelligence, machine learning, and the models which could be brought from other countries which have similar land governance issues. Now, the application which has been released on mobile is the Meri Panchayat. Now, this would provide the local people all user-friendly information updated related to the panchayat, and this would be in their preferred language. So with the help of Bhashini, this app would bring in the language of the user that they want. Also, geotag photos, ongoing projects would be brought under the app. There would be registrations for the app, which would be very simple with OTP. Then there would be a unified access to the information. This would include the information on the representatives, the officials, the profile of the panchayat, the developmental projects, and what are your personal land records and property records. Also, participation of the citizens would become easy. There would be social audits which would enable the citizens to track the progress of the physical and the financial processes for development. Then talking about the enhanced experiences. So this would be multilingual. It would have a simple registration, location based services would be there, and it would bring in more accountability, public participation and transparency. So Meri Panchayat application definitely has been a revolutionary application which has been used with the rural local bodies and the rural people in India. Now the water management is another important aspect. So Panchayat means Panch, that is the seat of five. Now since this word originates from Sanskrit, it has a very deep meaning for participatory approach to foster the management for every aspect, and even water is one such. So we have the Ministry of Jal Shakti working for piped water connection to every household in the rural areas, and there have been various list of activities which are related to water, for example agriculture, irrigation, fishery, animal husbandry, which have been important. And under this Jal Shakti Abhiyan, there has been another important mission which says catch the water where it falls. So this would ensure water harvesting systems and rainwater harvesting projects to be enhanced. Functionaries would be working more in line with this. Participatory irrigation management system would take place. Irrigation is one of the largest consumers of water in India with 90% usage. With participatory management, this could be managed well, and with the guidelines of the government. Rural drinking water and safe drinking water through the piped supply would be another important aspect in the rural area. So water conservation becomes important. Through the Manrega, ponds and lake bodies have been constructed in the rural areas. Check dams, dikes have been done, and these act as rainwater harvesting system with the idea catch the water where it falls. Now this initiative falls under the natural resource management category and has the share allocation, as we could say, for the expenditure which was significantly high and has now been reduced as the percentage of expenditure, as we have many establishments which have been done. Now water budgeting is again important. Now water budgeting talks about the demand and the availability within the Gram Panchayat, and then allocation for various purposes. So it has three aspects. First, calculating the total water available, bridging the gap between demand and supply, and then the shortfall whatever exists, planning for a sustainable solution to meet that shortfall. So 11th Financial Commission grants have been important for the local bodies for enhancing various works, and groundwater sector has been one of the important ones. So Atal Bhujal Yojana is important, which is a centrally funded scheme talking about managing the groundwater reservoirs, the groundwater table, and ensuring that there are proper plans to ensure disbursement through the proper channel for the water. Now localization under the sustainable development goal is again very, very important. So access to safe drinking water, especially in the rural areas, especially for the marginalized groups, have been one of the target. Also the roles and the responsibilities at micro level have been important. So Jal Jeevan Mission, as we said, has been very, very important in transforming the rural water access for piped water supply for clean drinking water. There are laboratories which are regularly testing water samples. Field testing kits have now been available to ensure that the water is being safe, and then the catch the rain concept is again essential. Now the first rain census talked about that India has nearly 24 lakh water bodies. 97% of these are in rural areas, which are again important. The distribution under the Panchayat state cooperatives have been given here, so the data is important. So if you are looking for answer writing for mains, this becomes important. Then Gram Manchitra we already discussed. This is the geospatial visualization and planning tool which gives you an information about all the geotag properties, the developmental projects and the schemes ongoing under the state and the central ministries, which would be vital for the development of the rural area. And this initiative of Gram Manchitra has been under the Digital India initiative, aiming to create self-reliant villages. So under the National Informatics System, we have created Bharat Maps, which talks about the boundaries which show the Gram Panchayats, the village level infrastructure at a scale of 1:10,000. So there are a detailed distribution of nearly 3.5 million assets in the rural areas which have been mapped and geotagged in the Gram Manchitra, right? So there are various tools which have been implemented. One such tool is Asset Report, which talks about all all the available assets with district, block and gram panchayats, identifying the gaps between future planning and reporting them for better navigability is again important. So connectivity is important. Now for this there are various tools. For example, street light tool, solar energy estimation, then there is road estimation, the Abadi tool, which talks about how much population is along the roadside, the navigation of the vehicles, the climate data integration. Now strengthening the rural India is important. As we have discussed, 64% of the population residing in the rural area, capacity building and training in the rural areas become important. Women empowerment has been one of the keys in the rural areas, which have led to fostering and development. Then we have talked about devolution index and the various states performing good. For example, functionaries in Gujarat have been exceptionally good. Now these are some of the ideas that have to be taken into account. Rashtriya Gram Swaraj Abhiyan, which we have already discussed, is a continuation of the centrally sponsored scheme which focuses on achieving sustainable development in the rural area. Capacity building in the Panchayati Raj institutions have been really important, and through a well developed system, the challenges which are there could be faced with community participation, resource mobilization and better management. Now strengthening the government through the revamped program is important. So there is an initiative which is known as Leadership and Management Development Program. As we have seen, IIMs have been working in line with the Ministry of Panchayati Raj, signing MOUs to work for leadership programs in the rural areas, and the programs have been implemented at the grassroots level. Rajiv Gandhi Panchayat Sashактикаран Abhiyan was implemented in 2012-13, and this followed the capacity building which was the Panchayat Sashактикаран Abhiyan during 2016-17. So you can see the same scheme with changes in the name have been brought, but the basic idea was to strengthen the leadership, strengthen the functional competency in the rural areas and ensure development and progress. We have seen how these developments have led to timely and sustainable grassroots level development in India, and this is just a way for a prosperous society. So those were some of the keys, but yes, empowering the rural areas, good governance, Samitva scheme, Meri Panchayat are some of the major things, devolution index, which we have discussed in this session. Thanks for joining in. We'll be coming up with Yojana, Kurukshetra and Down to Earth on a regular basis every month. So stay subscribed, stay tuned for more updates, and of course the data and the more details for this is available in the handouts. That would be available on Examrace in the current affairs section for free. So don't forget to download those. Thanks for joining in.